What's up, everyone? Today we're here with Nasu. Nasu, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first of all, I think I'm excited to be having this conversation today because we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, Amazon Analytics. But I'm excited to have you on the show because you're a real expert when it comes to Amazon Analytics. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad to be on the show and let's talk about ad analytics and things like that. I've been
Yeah,
selling on Amazon for quite a long time, for 3 years, and now running an Amazon Ads tool for 3 years as well. So let's dig into it. Let's talk about ad analytics and how we can help with sellers.
yeah. And one more thing, I think let's call out the obvious thing. You are from France.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear that for friends actually. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening to this on just audio, sometimes it's harder to tell where an accent's from. So, you know, yeah. Well, bonjour.
Bonjour, enchanté.
Yeah, yeah. So I think let's just start from the beginning. When we're talking about Amazon Ad Analytics, what are Amazon Ad out? Like, let's just explain it from the base level for the audience.
Yeah, Amazon Analytics basically are what I should have looked way more than that I used to when I was selling on Amazon. So selling on Amazon can be very emotional. I've been selling for 3 years and it was a complete failure due to that. You have some metrics you have to follow. So you have your intuition, like maybe I need to target this keyword, maybe I need to do an auto campaign and things like this. But what really drive your business should be analytics and metrics. Everything on Amazon and even outside Amazon regarding selling online is about a funnel. You sell a product, you want to be visible, you want to know how many times you've been visible, how many client or potential client clicked on your product, and how many buys. So analytics is basically knowing your number, knowing your funnel, so that you can improve your business only based on metrics and not on your intuition or emotion. Yeah, that's basically analytics.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that knowing your numbers is really key, especially when it comes to selling on Amazon, because it really is a volume game. You know,
Yeah,
there's not that many people who are selling 1 or 2 units a day and running a successful business. It's usually people
completely.
selling many units a day and, taking advantage of the scale that Amazon operates at. I feel like it's a really obvious question, but I still need to ask it. Why should somebody care about Amazon advertising analytics or just Amazon analytics in general? Why
Yeah,
why should a seller care? Why should an agency care? Why does it matter?
Yeah, as you said, it seemed like a really obvious question, but when you are in the other side and selling on Amazon, you really feel that it is a very emotional process. Like you start selling, you start getting some sale, you start checking your phone every time, and you can tend to forget that you need to focus on your metrics. So instead of focusing on the metric, maybe you will just focus on the revenue, on the sales, and remind that you need to take a look at all your metric or your funnel. It's the most important thing to do, and it's the way to avoid being out of business, basically, like I did. Making sales is quite good. You're happy with it, you're happy to make sales, but if you don't take a look at your funnel, at your profit, you might just fail at your business. So it's very important to be focused on some key metrics and to follow them every week to make sure you're going in the right direction.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that there are a lot of different numbers that you could focus on. And on top of that, when it comes to something like Amazon, not everyone who gets into Amazon is a data first kind of person. A
Yeah.
lot of people who get into Amazon are really like product first people. They have an idea for a product, they have a product they want to see in the world, and they take that vision and try to make it a reality. So not everyone who really gets into Amazon is doing it by the numbers. They're doing it by passion and through kind of like instinct. And then when they finally do get onto Amazon, the numbers is something that's really, really a foreign concept to them. So I
Mm,
think I think what you're talking about is really important. Like if you're not paying attention to your numbers, if you're not paying attention to your funnel, things can go
absolutely.
awry and they can go awry very quickly. When it comes to metrics and that kind of stuff, what numbers should people be focusing on? And
Yeah.
feel free to throw a few out there and we might drill deep into some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Selling on Amazon is all about a funnel. You are selling a product, and as you said, you can fall into the trap of getting feedback from friend or having your intuition and you love the product you've made, and sometimes you're not going into the right direction, but you can tell to yourself that it's okay, my product is good, I will improve this, I will improve that, I will improve the design, etc. But you should only focus on you should mainly focus on the funnel. So basically the funnel, what is the funnel is when you go on Amazon and you type a certain keyword, let's say yoga mat, for example, I was selling yoga mats on Amazon. The first metric you need to know is impression. How many times my product got visible on the search result page. The second metric, if we go down the funnel, is clicks. How many people clicks on it? And if we just stop here, we can understand if our main image is good, title is good, pricing and reviews. The average, a good click-through rate is 1%. So if you have below 1%, you can know that even if you think and you're sure that your product is good, on Amazon, people don't see your product. They just see a main image, a title, a price and reviews. So that metric gives you the reality about your market. Then out of the number of people who clicks, some people will buy and some not. So you absolutely need to track your conversion rate, which is the proportion of people who buy your product out of the people who goes into your listings. The average on Amazon is 5%, basically. And that gives you an indication about not your product, but your listing. Because once again, on Amazon, you don't sell a product, you sell a listing. You have multiple images, you may have videos, you have description, and all of that make your listing, all of that make the client take his decision to buy or not buy your product. So if you take a look at these metrics, impression, clicks, conversion, you have a good way to know if you are going into the right direction. For me, the most metrics to follow is your profit. As I said before, you can get tracked into revenue, making some sale, and that's good for your ego as well. But profit is what's get in your pocket at the end. So you track your funnel to understand if your first image is good, if your offer is good. You track your conversion to understand if your listing is good. If your conversion is below 5%, you can still improve your listing, improve the argument you show to the client, improve the images, the videos, etc. I think one advice here is to get help by a designer. I used to do it myself with Canva, and in the tool I'm running now, I see a lot of sellers that doesn't want to spend that much money, so they do themselves with Canva. And sometimes you need to invest a little bit to have nice images to convert because people only see those images. So you have impression, clicks, conversion, and after that, you obviously track your profit.
Okay. And maybe let's talk a little bit more about that. Because I agree with you. Click-through rate and conversion rate are two numbers that are incredibly important for your business on Amazon.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that, and again, I haven't really looked up Amazon averages, and I only manage a couple of accounts. You probably have a lot of data to look at, but I didn't realize 5% was standard because a lot of the companies that we work with, and again, these are high volume accounts, sometimes have conversion rates above 30%. So there can be a drastic range in performance. I do want to talk a little bit more about images and how they impact conversion rate, because I think that's a really, really important piece of information.
Mm.
When it comes to conversion rates and that kind of stuff, what have you seen really work? Are there specific things that sellers are doing to get their conversion rates up? Is it just having better images? Is it just committing to the quality? What kinds of things have you seen really enhance somebody's conversion rate?
Okay. First of all, regarding the conversion rate, 5% is an average, but it depends of your product and your category. The more your product is expensive, the more it tends to be a little bit lower. So it depends. It's just an average number. Just to know that if I have 2% conversion rate with a low cost product, maybe my conversion rate is not good. But the right metrics to compare it to is to the market conversion rate. On Amazon today, you have the Amazon Opportunity Explorer, where you can get data regarding your market. So you can compare your conversion rate with your competitors to know if you are in the right spot. And then regarding your listing, I think the most important is to focus on the client and the benefit for the client. One common mistake we tend to do is that we created a product, so we want to showcase the features, the product, how it is beautiful and how it has great features. But the goal of the product is to answer a need. The client is looking for a need. He needs a usage. The client goes to your listing and asks himself, what is in for me? And the goal of your listing and images is to accentuate that. If you are selling, for example, a product that solve an issue. Maybe the first images after the first one, but the second and third images should emphasize about the issue itself, so that the user can recognize himself and say, okay, I have this issue. This product can help me fix that. And then depending on that, the goal is really to address the usage of the client.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of stuff you can get from conversion rates, conversion rate information. And like you said, comparing your conversion rate to the market is absolutely key. I love that you said that because that's something that we pay very close attention to at our agency.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of sticking with the yoga mat theme. And again, this is probably not a real use case or a real problem, but whenever I do yoga, I end up sweating a lot. So maybe you and I could launch a yoga mat for guys who sweat a lot. And
Mm,
and the second or third image, one of the ways we could enhance our conversion rate is show like quick dry material and easy to clean, like that kind of
okay.
stuff to kind of like make it easier for the shoppers to see themselves and look and say, yeah, this product solves my problem faster than all the other yoga mats because
Exactly.
it's got features that I need.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to address a real issue and to make sure the client feel understood by your images. And it's becoming more and more important with Rufus, who is targeting audiences and specific needs. So yeah, that's basically
Hmm.
the goal of your images on your listing.
Yeah. So I think you brought up a couple of really good really good analytics numbers to pay attention to. Click-through rate, conversion rate, and profit, obviously. Are there any overrated metrics, maybe metrics that we don't want to pay that much attention to?
Yeah, I always see sellers complaining about ACOS or focusing too much about ROAS. And I can understand that because you spend 100 euro and you make 300 or 500 through ads. So you look at your ROAS, it's 5, and you're like, okay, it's profitable. But that logic can be good on Google Ads and Meta Ads because you spend money and you get return on investment only on ads. But on Amazon, we have a very good advantage with Amazon ads impact organic sales as well, not only ads, but organic sales. So if you focus on ACOS or ROAS, you're only looking at a small picture. You're not looking at the big picture. So I think the most important metrics regarding ads is TACOS. TACOS give you an indication about your ads impact into all your revenue, not only the ads return. And once again,
Mhm.
profit. At the end of the day, you want to make profits, so you should focus on profit. Check your ad spend. Even if you have a high ACOS, I also see that sometimes people with some campaign, they have some campaigns with high ACOS, especially auto campaign, for example, and they tend to think like, okay, this campaign is not efficient. I need to reduce the bid. I need to stop it. But every campaign has a goal. Auto campaign's goal is not to be profitable, is to find new keywords. So if you always take a step back and look at the main metrics, profit, TACOS for a long enough period, not only yesterday, but the last 7, 14, or 30 days. I know it can be
Mhm.
emotional because yesterday you spent a lot and you want to cut everything. I think it's the best way to focus on what really matters, which is profit at the end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Tacos is really going to give you that short-term health check, and long-term profits are what really matters, and that's the only thing that matters in a business. So yeah, could not agree more. I want to talk about some use cases, so let's get ourselves into the shoes of like a day-to-day Amazon seller. Like how should they be using analytics? How should they be thinking about analytics in their day-to-day? So maybe let's give them like 3, 4, 5 use cases of like what they should be doing in a day to day. So maybe we'll start with one, we'll talk it through and we'll kind of work our way through, but I want to give them a bunch because I think people could really get some value from this. Like you're bringing up a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I think like it can be sometimes counterproductive to focus to analyze and optimize day by day because you don't have enough data. Someday maybe it's the weather. It's rainy. You don't want to buy a yoga mat. You want to stay home, or I don't know. But so we always recommend to our seller to take a look at least at minimum last 7 days. So basically, Sunday night, they check their analytics. They see how the previous week went. What is my profit? What is my tacos? How it is evolving? Is my tacos increasing? Are my ads performing well or not? And based on that, they can start improving their ads. What I recommend as well is to have a clear, defined strategy because if you don't have it's like investing in stock market. If you don't have a defined strategy, you can tend to just changing based on your feeling. Like you have bad result, you reduce the bid, and you have a good result, you increase it. You need to have a clear strategy. When do I increase the bid? When do I stop a campaign, etc. And check at minimum last 7 days, last 14 days to not get trapped into emotional. And yeah, that should.
Okay, so that's a really good one. Just like the general business review last 7 days, and you do it kind of at the end of the day, end of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a really good one. That's a common one. Um, I mean, highly logical. That's something every business owner should be doing. What about something maybe more advertising centric? And again, we don't need to do this every single day. I'm just thinking more of like
Mhm.
what should sellers be doing with analytics some period of time? Maybe it's once every 2 weeks or once a month. What else should they be looking at?
I think they should see advertising as a funnel as well. When we take a look at campaigns, we have auto campaigns, we have manual campaigns, different type of targeting. Everything of that has a meaning and has a goal. So if you just launch campaigns to be visible and to increase your profit, you might be missing some goals of specific type of campaign. Let me explain. For example, what we tend to advise to our seller is to always have one auto campaign running by product so that you can find new keywords, find your targets. Then from that, every week or every 2 weeks, you check this auto campaign, you check the search term. When you find a keyword that have made a sale that seem to be relevant, you can get it, put it in a manual campaign. It can be exact, it can be phrase, put it in negative targeting in the auto campaign. And so that the goal of your campaign is to be like a funnel. Auto campaign will find new targeting, new keywords. Then you move that into phrase campaign that will find targeting around a specific keyword. Let's say you made a sale on anti-sleep yoga mat, for example. You get it, you put it into a fresh targeting campaign, and you put it in negative in auto campaign so that the auto campaign doesn't show it anymore. And then the goal of the fresh campaign will be to find new keywords around that those three words, and then you put that into exact campaign, exact targeting campaign, which goal will be to focus on this keyword. And what we've seen a lot recently is that a few years ago we used to think like you run some ads, you improve your organic rank, and then you cut everything when you are well ranked, and most of the time you just lose your organic rank. Now our strategy is mainly the opposite. Once you start getting more organic visibility on a specific keyword, on a specific search term, the goal is to be more and more visible. So you start with sponsored product campaigns. When you are well positioned and with good profit, good visibility, you can run sponsored brand video campaign, especially, which give you a very nice visibility on top of the page, especially on mobile. You can be visible on top, then on sponsored product, then just below. And I think seller can think that like if I'm running 5 different campaigns for a product, sponsored product, sponsored brand, etc., I will spend too much money. But even if the client sees your product 5 times, they will click only once. So
Huh.
by being visible on sponsored brand video, sponsored product, again sponsored brand video, maybe sponsored display, you just maximize the chances of getting the clicks to get the sales. So the goal is to get the maximum visibility on the more relevant keywords.
Okay. And so there you're really thinking about migrating search terms from one campaign type to another and
Yeah.
seeing, okay, can I get more out of this? Can I get more out of this? Okay, now that I've migrated through the general flow of sponsored products, I'm going to migrate also to sponsored brands and see if I can really start doubling down on my winners. And that's something that you're saying is like a really good way to use analytics in your day to day as a seller. Do you want to do one more? I feel like you're giving people a lot of value here. These are very solid playbooks. So I think we should give everyone one more. Do you have something in mind?
Regarding ads,
Yeah, or well, it could be anything to do with Amazon Analytics. So anything where they could use analytics to their advantage.
okay, if it is regarding analytics, now we have a lot of data with Amazon. Amazon Opportunity Explorer is a gold nugget. You can find so many data. By the past, we used to be focused on ads, running auto campaign to find new keywords, etc. Now that you get to have organic data per keyword for free on Amazon Opportunity Explorer, it's very insightful to take a look at it, find new keywords without spending on auto campaigns, and target that into your ads campaigns. So all of this data is really interesting to know which keywords are performing the best.
Mm,
How am I doing compared to my competitor? And based on that, you can improve, change your listing, improve your conversion, etc. If you see that your conversion is lower than your competitor, you can based on that improve your listing. Maybe you can do some A/B tests as well. Like there are some tools like Product Pinion where you can just put two different listings, do a A/B test, and then use that on your listings. But yeah, now you have a lot of analytics. You just have to gather all of that and take your decision the maximum time based on your on analytics.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's like the fact that Amazon launched Product Opportunity Explorer. Actually, we had somebody else on this podcast where they just talked ad nauseum about how excited they were about Product Opportunity Explorer. So it's funny that there are so many people who have such high level experience who are all saying the same thing. It makes perfect sense. But yeah, of course, that is such an amazing opportunity. And there are so many things that are really, really big opportunities in the Amazon advertising space or in the Amazon space in general with analytics. But yeah, Product Opportunity Explorer and feeding that data and using that data to inform the rest of your decisions in your day to day management is fantastic. Yeah, that is a really, really good tip.
And it can even be used to find new product. Like we used to use Helium 10, Jungle Scout, which are estimation. Now with the opportunity explorer, you can know people buying your product, which product are they buying together. So you can even find ideas of new product to launch. So it's a really interesting source of data to take a look at and improve your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, as we get towards the end of this conversation, there's always a question I like to ask, which is, do you have any hot takes when it comes to, Amazon analytics in general? Any hot takes? Any spicy opinions?
Yeah, do not focus on ACOS and ROAS. I know that a lot of agency like to improve your ACOS and they show you that like look at your ACOS is improving. What's really matter is your profit. So focus on your profit instead of that. And one other outtake, do not fully automate with any software and just give it the trust. We run a PPC software ourselves, so I would love to tell you that you just have to launch your software and everything will work magically. You still need
Mhm.
to have control. You need to check what the software does and focus on your profit.
Yeah, I think that is a neither of those surprise me, and I very much agree. I think a lot of people might be a little surprised at first, but I completely agree with you. ACOS and ROAS, they are good primary metrics for taking a look at the direction of something, but profit is a number that matters. I could not agree more. And look, your other hot take, I completely agree with, and I've seen the horror stories. I've seen companies have their accounts be fully automated
Mm.
and watch the fallout that's happened from those approaches. So, yeah, I could not agree more. Amazon PPC is not something you can fully automate. If you meet anyone who tells you that, they're probably trying to sell you an automation software. I would love to automate everything that I do on a day to day basis because if I could, then I would just spend more time doing creative things like how do I grow my conversion rate even more? What can I do to beat my competitor on this keyword? There are so many other things I would do if I could automate more of my day to day. But at this present moment, I can't do it. And I've gone shopping. I've looked at the solutions. Nobody who promises full automation can actually do it. So yeah, I appreciate the intellectual honesty as someone who actually has a software tool. I think, yeah, you make a valid point, which is, yeah, you can't automate everything and you shouldn't.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Nasuf, where can people find you on the internet? How can they get in touch with you? What do you do? Like, tell everyone who you are, just so
Yeah,
everyone knows.
I will drop my LinkedIn. They can reach me there. I'm a software engineer. I was selling on Amazon for 3 years, and now I run the tool PPC Assist, which is an Amazon Ads assistant software. So you can semi-automate with control. We have a free trial for sellers who want to try it, basically. And they can find me on LinkedIn or on ppcassist.com. Little chat button. They send a message. It's me that answer, not a AI bot. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Well, I can assure you, Nasufa's a nice guy. Send him a message.
Thanks.
Yeah, like I think I really appreciate you coming on here and being generous with your approach and sharing so many different things you could try. And yeah, I appreciate your intellectual honesty. Like that's something that not everyone will just be as transparent as you, and I think that's quite cool. So, yeah, Nasu, thanks again for being here.
Yeah,
Everyone
great.
else, thanks for tuning in, and yeah,
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
yeah, of course. Yeah, this was great.